Hey guys, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite companies, FW Arms, and Will just sent me his new adjustable popper. This is a decapping die. Before we open this up though, we're going to take a look at some of the previous generations of his decapping dies and something new that he's come out with. So this is one of his original decapping dies. It features a shuttle here that helps align your brass. Mainly these are used on progressive presses. That's where they really shine, but they're not necessarily only for progressive presses. So they have this adjustable shuttle. You can adjust the depth on the decapping pin itself. This is kind of what the inside looks like of one of them. So there you can see the pin. They're just these little replaceable pins if you did break one. And here's this little brass shuttle. This helps line everything up. And there's the body itself, but it's really a well-designed decapping die all in itself. So this is one of his first gens. And then he came out with this one here that's got a spring mechanism in here, and it's got the same shuttle, but the spring, when it on a progressive, sometimes when guys are running at high speed, the primer will be ejected, and then sometimes it gets pulled back in and it can jam up your press. So by adding this spring that pops the primer out, it flicks it out, that eliminated that. So this is the newest one that he has come up with. I think probably the best looking one so far. Let's give you a kind of a close-up of this. It's got some laser engraving on there. So this is brand new to me. I haven't put it in the press. I literally just opened it up. I did open up a minute ago and took a look at it, but I have not put this on the machine. So we are gonna install this and run some brass. I've actually been processing some brass, and this came in, so I stopped. Figured it'd be a good time to make a video and get this on there and try it out. So here's a quick, nice thing that he started doing too is he's put this QR code right there, so you guys can scan that, and it pulls up a little video and goes through the setup and everything. So here's some instructions. I'm going to read through this before I install it all. So this actually is instructions for his decapping die, and it looks like for his new product that I have sitting right here, his swage foot. So when you're processing like on a 1050 or a Mark 7 or some other presses out there that swage, you want to have a hold down on your brass when you're swaging that primer pocket. So this is basically the same body and everything as his decapper. This one just happens to have different caps on because I've gotten a bunch of his stuff, and this is just in between iterations, but they're the same thing. So this one's for the rifle. You can see the way it's shaped. It's beveled so it goes into the neck. It goes down to the bottom of the case and holds it down while the swage process is happening. Let me actually see if I have a cut piece of brass. I can show you that. So I don't know how well this will work, but I've got this piece of brass that I've cut so I can see right in here. You can see the primer pocket, the material right there. So basically, let me just take this apart. It'll be easier to show you. Same thing. Body, brass shuttle. It's got the spring. Okay. So basically this rod goes in through the neck, and then it holds down your brass, so when the swager is coming up, it's not pushing back on your brass. This holds it in place, then the swager can go in there and do what it's got to do, remove that military crimp. So, as you guys can guess, with different varieties of brass, they all have different thicknesses and such. So this piece of brass will have a different thickness from this piece and another piece. So you get a little bit of variation in that. So this does an excellent job. I've ran thousands and thousands of rounds with this and this one, the decapper. But Will's a super swell guy. His company's awesome. He's always kept me in on the newest and greatest stuff that he's got going on, and I think this one right here is going to be a definite winner. This is spring loaded just like this one. I said I've got to do some reading on it and see exactly how to adjust the spring tension on here, but before I go back to that swage foot, I do know that the nice thing with this one is you can adjust that flicking motion, the spring action on this, to where it doesn't pop the primers out, doesn't do that flick action, or it does it more aggressive. So this one's going to be, for me, this one's going to be an awesome addition. And we'll look at some of the features when it's on the press. And then the sweet thing about this swage foot that he's got is it's got something very similar. It's got a spring in here. And the way this works, it does the same thing. It's got a very similar rod that goes down the neck, and it holds the brass in your shell plate and helps with deflection. But this one has a spring that you set this up initially, and where you get brass with different thicknesses, this adjusts for that. See, I have not done anything with this. This is brand new. Just show you some of his nice laser engraving on this one. And I know he's got this set up. Let's see if I can take it off, but you got these nice cuts on here for some wrenches to fit on there, but I think you should be able to take this off by hand. So yeah, I don't see that you really need to tear this down. You guys might not be able to see, but I can see a really heavy duty green spring right through there. So this is the whole spring mechanism. It looks like you could take this off, separate this. I don't know why you would need to, but let's take a look at the so I'm not going to do it right now, but you should just be able to loosen this up. Looks like there's another spring in for that shuttle guide. This one looks like it's made out of steel versus these other ones that are brass. So looks like this one I have in here is set up similar to this one. This one's got more of a beveled edge and this is more rounded, but this one here should be for rifle. And I got one here, I'm guessing should be for pistol. Yeah, it's a flat base. So this one's set up for pistol, so I got pistol and rifle here. Okay, so we're over here at the press. I just turned it on. First thing I need to do is calibrate the machine. So I got the screen pulled up, just hitting calibrate now. It's going to go all the way up and all the way down and calibrate itself. If you notice, I got one of Will's FW Arms shell plates. These are super nice too. These are TIN coated. Station 1, 2, 3 is the swage foot. And I'm just going to move this to the bottom position. You can see the swage rod come up. At least I hope you guys can. So first thing I'm going to do, and that looks like it's up kind of high. We're going to have to do a little bit of adjusting on this. But we are going to just put a couple pieces of brass in. Okay, so I have been processing here. I am not going to turn this machine on and run it all because I have a vacuum over here, the trimmer here. It gets too loud, you guys wouldn't hear anything. So we're just going to focus on these here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the press all the way down. Okay, that's at the bottom. I'm going to run this. Actually, let's just put a piece of brass in there. Have this basically all the way up. Okay, so the machine's bottomed out. And we are going to run this down by hand and see if we can listen for the spent primer to pop out. Okay, so I started to engage. That kind of clicking noise you guys hear is the press. So let's see if we can hear this over that noise. So I think it's starting to go. Okay, so I didn't hear it pop. Let's run that down. So his instructions, and I never read instructions, I hate instructions, but we're going to go by what Will says. So we're going to bottom this out and give it 1.5 rotations back up. So here's the F and FW arms, 1.5. Then we're going to lock this down. Okay, let's bring it up. So that's decapped. Set that off to the side here. Let's just run a single rotation of the press and see if we can hear anything. Okay. So I think this is set up to where it's not actually flicking those primers out. So I'm going to grab some tools here. Okay. So let's adjust you guys up so you can see this a little bit better. Okay. So right here you've got this nut. This is you need a 5/8 end wrench. Then on top there's an Allen head set screw in there. That is a 5/32. So what we're going to do, we're just going to check. Like I said, you guys saw we didn't hear that pop. So I think this is adjusted in the off mode, if you want to call it that, of his die. So it's got an on and an off, if that makes sense. So it's got the flicking action, and right now that flicking action is turned off. So we are going to loosen this up. And I'm just going to hold this and try to go down, and if it doesn't go down, that means it is in the off position. Okay, so it is all the way down. So now if we go up, yep, all the way, and lock that back down, that should put us on. So now the flicking action should be on. So let's just check some stuff out here. Okay, see there is a primer in there. I'm going to move you guys back down. Okay, I'm just going to jog this down and let's listen and see if we hear that flick. Right there. Let's try another one. I know you guys heard a little noise before that flicking action. That was this piece of brass dropping through the tube here. So I'm just going to make sure there's no more pieces of brass. Okay, because I want us to hear that. Okay, so here we go. You heard that. So I'm going to leave the flicking action on, and now we're going to go and set up the swage foot. So we're going to use one of these, and let's actually, okay, I have a go, no-go gauge here for primer pockets. So this is the go side. It actually does not fit in there. So this is Lake City, and it needs that primer pocket swaged. So let's put this in there. Okay, so we got these all set up. Let's go ahead and fill the machine up with some brass, and we'll process them and see how these work. I will be trimming, and I run a vacuum to suck the chips out. So it's going to be noisy, and I'm just going to cut the audio and probably speed this process up, but I'll occasionally show you guys a couple things here, and let's just get going on it. I'm going to turn this trimmer on. Actually, I'll wait to turn that on. I want to hear this pop and flick those primers out. We're going to fill the tube up with some brass first. Okay,